And
Did
you
I
around here,
actually?
and you around here talking to yourself like, man, you're a loser. Get yourself together, man. You suck. You ain't doing nothing, right? But I mean, here's what I know. Like there are people who are watching Marcus and watching Neil, and they're saying, man, they're doing this. They've got this. I see them whether it's on TV or all this stuff, right? But then they don't understand that it's a continual journey, right? When you want to get better, even we have to check ourselves and check each other and have people who are coming and saying, hold on, brother, hold on now. You're doing decent. You're doing pretty good. Give yourself some credit, right? And so that's
Yeah.
Listen, I got on a sweatshirt hoodie. We roll up in the Toyota Avalon.
To the Bentley joint. To the
What's up, family? Welcome to another episode of the Eavesdrop. Neil Jr. here with the one, the only Marcus J. Scott. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, man. How you feeling this morning?
Man, I'm feeling good now that I'm looking at you. Now that we're about to have some fun, talk some shop, and then just connect.
Okay, yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, so here's what we've got today. Man, first of all, I want to say congratulations to you. In that you got all my people thinking that you're the guy, right? They're like, oh man, Neil, you are hype, but that Marcus J. Scott, that guy, like
Stop
man,
it,
making the
man.
money. But here, hey, check this out. Here's what I did. You started dropping gems and jewels last time, so I got this son of a gun real close to me right now. Hey, I won't have to go far looking for the money book when Marcus J. Scott is talking. So that reminds me of a saying that John Maxwell, a shirt that he had made, and it said, "If I'm talking, you should be taking notes."
Oh, yeah. Wow,
So,
that's a good one.
so as
I
you're
need to write that
talking,
one down.
well, make sure you give me the credit. Nah, that's John Maxwell. All right, so here's what I want to do today. Speaking of John Maxwell, just as an author, as a leader, we're going to talk about cultivating a growth mindset. You up for it?
Oh, I'm definitely up for it.
All right, so let's dive right in. And first, Clutch, I want to know when do you believe that you started your growth journey when it comes to having a growth mindset and not just settling to being mediocre or like the mediocre many?
I'd have to honestly say it started as a child, because one, I always reference my father a lot, right? So
Mhm.
because of him, and it put me in certain circles and everything, and then on top of that, I always had older friends. So my friends, at a minimum, were like 2 years older than I was. Well, as a child, you know, 7, 8, 15 to 17, though 2 years is a big difference, right? It might not
Yeah.
be a big difference in adult ages, but when you're a kid, those are big differences. So for me, I had to, it felt like I needed to be on their level in order to hang out with them, right? And so that was my mindset. With that being said, I always felt like I was older than my actual age. Not only that, being in church and being around my father, around other pastors, even younger pastors who might have been, like, let's say I was, 14, 15, but they might have been in there, 22, 23.
Yeah.
I got a lot of experience being around those individuals. So in my mind, I was always older than my actual age said, right? So that speaks to the maturity. So by the time I was 16, 17, 18, the group of people I was hanging around was like 25. And so from a maturity standpoint, from a individual growth standpoint, I would have to say it started when I was a child. Well, I recognized that also early, right? And somehow or another, we always roll back to Jesus, right? And so we talk about how in the Bible, it talks about how Jesus was in the temple at a young age. I mean, he already knew then at a young age, and his mom's looking for him, right? And he's like, I'm in my father's house. I'm where I'm, supposed to be. And so I just kind of feel like I started then. Now, of course, there are times we get off the path or what have you, but it definitely started as a young child.
Yeah, and so that's something that I have recognized as well, and I think that we are unique, and I'm going to say spoiled in the sense that we did have environments and an atmosphere around us that encouraged growth and changing the renewing of the mind, right,
Yeah.
at an
Yeah.
early age, and so we were able to see this thing and maybe get a head start. More of a head start to some of our peers. So that's how we started. I know for me, it has been a continual journey, right? Always wanting to be better, looking to my left and my right, not like being okay, being pleased, but not being complacent, right? Never getting so comfortable that we're not chasing after something else, or not chasing, trying to be everything we were created to be. So what does that look like for you today when it comes to how are you constantly trying to improve? What drives you? What are you doing so that Marcus J. Scott today is better than Marcus J. Scott of yesterday?
Well, one of the things that I think is something that is just naturally instilled in me, and I don't know why, is I I'm never satisfied at where I am. So when I meet a goal, yes, I'm excited about it. I'm happy. But then the next day, it's like it's
So
almost
it,
like I'm
it's
starting
so
off, starting
so
off.
you're that NFL team that is going to win the championship, and you're going to appreciate it. You're going to enjoy it for this much time. Then you're like, hold on, there's already somebody trying to knock me off. Right, I already got to be better. We always hear the story of MJ, right, winning the championship, and then talking to his trainer, saying, "Hey, I'll see you in the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning." And
Yeah,
be like,
yeah.
dude, we just won. Like, come on. He was like, yeah, man, that number 5 don't matter. That number 6 don't matter. It's the next one. Now, on that, also, we have to be careful not to bypass the victories, right? Because
Correct.
the growth journey and having this growth mindset is a double-edged sword, as with everything. Where if you and I aren't careful, if people who are watching us who are like us, if we
Hmm.
aren't careful, we'll get so stuck on the I have to accomplish the next thing. I'm never
Yeah.
good enough, right? And so in that sense, have you ever had to sit down and reassess if you're chasing too much or if you're not enjoying the moment? Have you ever had to do or have that conversation with yourself, the man in the mirror? And if so, how did that go?
So I often try to sometimes slow down and try to have that conversation with myself. I was just telling my wife the other day, I'm like, man, I guess I have accomplished, quite a bit.
We forget, right?
Like, I don't even look at, I've done this, and because, I just have that mentality. So going back to what you were talking about Michael Jordan, what immediately popped in my head was Tom Brady. Somebody asked him, hey, you got all these rings. Which ring or which championship, which one will you say was the best of your most precious one? And his answer was the next one, right? It was like, oh yeah, those are good and all, but I like if I'm focused on the goal, it's the one I don't have yet. And so sometimes we do have to, slow down. And one of the main reasons for me is because, to be honest, like I've fought depression. And so in, having my counseling sessions with my therapist and everything, it's like, yeah, sometimes you have to slow down. And that's one of the reasons for you also kind of help me with this as far as continuing to journal helps with that, right? So like
Yeah.
when I go back and look at my journaling, when I go back and look at my goal sheet, for that we set out for the year, or
Hmm.
that we set, because I have goal sheets, right, that say, okay, 30 days, 60 day, 90 day, but then I got the 6 month, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year plan. And so just the other day I'm looking at the I think it was the 3 year plan that I was looking at, and I'm like 2 years into the 3 year plan, and I've probably accomplished 95%,
Crushing it.
not even not even realizing
And
that
you
I
right here,
actually
and you right here talking to yourself like, man, you're a loser. Get yourself together, man. You suck. You ain't doing nothing, right? But I mean, here's what I know. Like there are people who are watching Marcus and watching Neil, and they're saying, man, they're doing this. They've got this. I see them, whether it's on TV or all this stuff, right? But then they don't understand that it's a continual journey, right? When you want to get better, even we have to check ourselves and check each other and have people who are coming and saying, hold on, brother, hold on now. You're doing decent. You're doing pretty good. Give yourself some credit, right? And so that's exactly what you're talking about right now. Going back. And so, once again, we always go back to Jesus, to the Bible. You know how God told them to have these memorial stones put down so that every time they pass by, so when their children would see it, they would say, hey, what's that? And it would force the elders to remember.
yeah,
Right. And I
yeah.
think that, Jim Rohn says we need to be reminded more than we need to be instructed. And so, especially when it comes to this growth plan, this growth mindset. So, here's what I want from you, Clutch. So, for someone who is watching us right now and who's like, all right, yeah, Marcus, Neil, y'all had these great environments, atmosphere from a young age. Hey, I'm a grown woman. I'm a grown man. I don't have that. I haven't had that. Is it too late for me to start? Where would you encourage or advise someone to start on their growth journey, getting that mindset? What's the first thing that you would encourage someone to do?
So I just told somebody this the other day, right? I say, first of all, assess where you would like to be, whether it be in business, as a professionally, personally. Where would you like to be in your life? Is there a place that you would like to be? Whether you see it, write it down, whatever that place is, find somebody who's there and ask for help, because I truly believe mentorship, coaching, I believe that stuff matters. Sometimes it's indirectly, right? It may not even be like them holding your hand or anything, but it may just be something as simple as, okay, you see somebody over there. Well, what are they doing? Right. So find out the things that they're doing. Sometimes it's just asking them. Sometimes it's it may be depending on who the person is. It may be something you can look up and, oh, okay, this person you know got has this degree, or they are reading this book or what have you. And the reason I say that is because, being that they're already there, they've traveled a path to get there, right?
Yeah.
And so they can help you with some of the things that they did. So some of the things that, so I could tell you all the stuff that, oh, this, you could do this and do, because I was going to say one of the things for growth is, books. Now, I hate reading, but I like information.
Hey, so hold on. So, Clutch, you sitting here like, man, I hate reading, but I sure like information. I hate reading, but I want to get better. And so you've got the angel and the devil sitting on your shoulder. Oh man, you hate reading. You ain't even good at this. And then you're like, dang man, I like information. I like the potential for power. So
Yeah.
on that. So before you even finish your thought, so how do you decide? Do you do what you hate in order to get what you want, or do you just say, "Nah, I'm gonna chill today"?
No, I can't. My drive won't let me chill. Sometimes it's hard to turn my mind off, and sometimes we have to do that to rest, and sometimes it literally is just when we are resting. But man, I tell you, I don't know if it's the PKME, the minister, whatever it is. Just going back to the Bible, even God rested on the seventh day, right? So it's like it's very important, but like that drive to just do whatever it takes. So example with the reading thing, there's other avenues, either reading something that finding that thing that does interest you. So if it takes, okay, this person, they said they read this book and it helped them to get to this next level. Well, I got to read the book. Now, that might not necessarily mean reading the book, uh, visual eye, right? We got technology. They have audio books. I had
Yeah.
everything, every physical book that I have it on audio. So I buy the book and I get the audio. And what I do is, and this is just me, I listen to books on audio. Sometime I have the book open and listening to the audio and it's reading to me. And then sometimes I'm riding in the car or, walking or whatever, listening to it. And if something clicks, I say, okay, I got to go back and find that in the book, highlight it in the book, or write it in the money book, write it in my journal. Because ET put this out for me and it kind of just changed my whole view. You're never going to remember every single thing that's in a book and all the books you read, right? And so if you just remember, a small portion out of a million books, that's a lot of information to help with growth, right?
Yeah.
And so whether I listen to it, sometimes I'll go in a bookstore and I'll go to flip like a couple pages in and just start reading just a couple of pages, right?
You
And I'm
stealing
like,
from the bookstore, Clutch. He ain't like, I'm gonna get all this free stuff.
and I was thinking that just the other day. I say, man, is this considered stealing?
Yeah, you know it's considered stealing. You in there looking at book. Hey, that's the equivalent. So if you go in the bookstore, read a book, and put it back on the shelf, that's the equivalent of going into Publix, biting an apple, and putting the apple back. I feel like it's the equivalent. I mean, I hadn't thought about it till right now, but that was a good analogy. Dude, so that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna start biting apples in Publix. They come get me. I'm gonna I'm gonna do a Takashi 6ix9ine. Hey, you got to go get Marcus J. Scott. His address is he right there stealing a lot more valuable stuff now. He's stealing knowledge and
He's
information,
stealing
man.
information, man.
Man, listen. He getting there getting all the goodness. Now that I think about it, that's wild, right? Because like Barnes and Noble, they'll let you go get a book, sit down inside of the little coffee shop in there. You can read the book and put it
Yeah,
back.
yeah, that's true. But
So
here's what I
so
do know.
So hold on real quick. Maybe that's a good starting point for people who want to start their growth journey. Go in there and start stealing information from the bookstore. I mean, I guess if you go to the library, you could do it, but they ain't got all the new stuff. I'm not encouraging y'all to steal. That's Marcus J. Oh, hold on. This is where I must say these thoughts are not the thoughts of the Eavesdrop podcast. These are the thoughts of Marcus J. Scott. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, man. I mean, to be honest with you, that might be a good place to start. But here's what I do know: if it's good information, you're gonna want to refer back to it, right? So,
Yeah.
if it's that good, hey, it's kind of like, and I I mentioned this too. So you hit me another person that I admire and I look at is ET, and he gives the example of if it's good, oh, people gonna want it, right? So he gives the
Oh, come
example:
on.
you go in the mall. What do they do at the Chinese restaurant? No, try chicken,
Orange chicken.
try
Orange chicken.
sweet
You ain't
salad,
even
try
hungry. You ain't
and then
even
you
hungry.
try to be like, you ain't even hungry. Kind of good. Come, $5.99, right?
Next thing
So
you know, you got the orange chicken, you got the spring roll, you get you a soda off of one of the taste tests, right?
exactly. So that's my thing. If you in the book, and I guess the bookstore, people who write book, whatever, I guess they feel that way, right? Because if you in there, because why don't they have books shrink wrapped,
Come on.
right? So
See,
you go in.
I can go. If you ever open a bookstore, I'm not going to your bookstore. You're gonna have all the stuff shrink wrap. I'm like, bro, I can't even where's the orange chicken? You supposed to be having the sample. You like, nah, bro. You get the cover. I blew up an excerpt from the book. That's all you get. You get the front and the back. You know how to, you don't. I don't even get the inside flap, man. I just turn it over, look at it.
But man, I mean, now that we talk about this and this growth thing, the people, man, if people feel like their information is that valuable, I think they are willing to say, hey, look here, try it out. Because if you think about it, even in audio, they allow you to listen to a certain
You can listen to a
amount.
whole chapter almost
Yeah,
now, dog.
exactly. So I'm saying, man, like and if you're that confident that the information that you're giving is that valuable to somebody, and the person who does feel that it's going to help them, they'll buy it.
So
So
you're telling us that if you go in the store and the book is shrink wrapped, that means they probably got trash in there, and they don't want you to taste test it because they be like, "Nah, man, I ain't buying this garbage." So we want to be able to go through and look through the book. Hey, man, that's good advice, man. Fantastic stuff right there. Now, here's what I want to ask you before we close out this episode, right?
hmm
So we know people can start by finding mentors, coaches, all
hmm
that. Now, I know that you and I, we're very intentional about what we go after and learn, right? Because
hmm
we're saying our time is valuable, our energy, our attention is valuable. So, are you a person that's going to encourage people to just, hey, grow in every area or read everything, or do they start in a specific realm, right, or in a specific lane? I know one of the things for me, that when I started on my growth journey many years ago, one of my mentors said, I asked him, "What book are you reading?" And you know this one. They were like, "Why do you care?" And I'm like, "Ooh, that's hard, right?" And I was like, I was just asking. He said, "Well, what I read is of no importance to you unless you're trying to do what I do." Right now, he was trying to teach a point. Don't just read something because someone else read it. But I know, for instance, with you, you read and follow ET because you're on that journey, right? You see what he's doing and you resonate with that. So, what are your thoughts on that? Do we just get broad learning, just growth in broad areas? Do we niche it down and get very specific? Do we do a mixture of both? What are your thoughts?
Well, again, that goes back to how I started out, right? I said, you got to ask yourself, where is it that you want to be? What do you want to do? And then find the person, right?
So many
So,
people never do that step right there, right? We just walking aimlessly and we're like, well, I guess life is going to be okay. You're telling them to, well, first they have to know. So this is a GPS. So Clutch is saying, hey, ladies, gentlemen, find out where you want to go. Otherwise, you're going to have nowhere as a target and you're going to hit it. So go ahead, Clutch.
yeah, right. So, and because I'm a firm believer, like, even with like a job, right? Like, I feel like people should do what they enjoy doing. To me, like, so Steve Harvey said, how you know what your gift is, how to determine what your gift is what takes you the least amount of effort to get the maximum amount of result. That's more than likely what your gift is, right? Because it doesn't take a whole lot to, like, I give you an example. So my gift is playing the drums. I had never taken lessons and I just got on the set and started playing.
Hold
People was
on,
like, "Hi."
you nice with the sticks?
I used to be.
For
So,
real?
yeah, man. So, and a
How
lot
come
of
we
people,
don't have any video?
oh, I got some video. I got a couple things, but I refuse to give them to you because
Why am I just not, dude? Why am I just not finding this out?
yeah, man. I mean, I don't know, man.
You ever pick up the sticks anymore? You done? You threw them on top of the power line and just walked
Every
away from the
now and
game.
then I'll get on the set at church.
Come
I mean,
on,
like
dude.
every blue moon, just to see if I still can keep a beat, right?
Can
But
you?
my point is, see how you get me off track
No, no,
this
no.
time?
I'm just curious. Can you
What?
still keep a beat?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, yeah, you know, man. We make it do what it do, baby. You know what I mean, baby. You know.
Yeah, so yeah, that's an example of, I was blessed with that gift and it just comes natural. I was blessed with a gift of the year. So like playing the piano, I kind of fumbled and taught myself, the
You play
piano
the
just by
piano,
listening just by listening to, okay,
Clutch.
that's
You're a
definitely a wrong.
musician.
Nah, I ain't no real musician. Nah, and nah, man. But see
Here I
that
was. I thought all your talent was just your good looks. Come on, man, for real. So you're skilled with the musical arts. You're
yeah,
good in
yeah,
that
yeah,
area.
yeah. I do pretty well in that area, but again, so whether you're doing, going back to what we were talking about, like finding something that you enjoy doing, it makes it seem like it's not work, right? And so I tell people, find within yourself, what is it that you want to do? Not what makes the most money, not
Come on.
okay,
Now see,
what's
now you
going
about not you just lost our
see
entire audience. Man, hey man, y'all two successful brothers. Now, real quick on that clutch. So you say that, but I know there's someone who's saying it's easy for you to say you got it made. You're an entrepreneur, you got businesses. You're telling me not to worry about the money and to do what I enjoy. Come on, man.
Yeah, so do what you enjoy and the money will come. I mean, you just got to find that whatever that thing is that you love to do, right? So I'll ask people like, what do you want to do? I was talking with my ex-wife and I said, what is it that you want to do? And she was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I know it might sound weird to you, but I like to clean. I want to clean people's houses. I'm like, you can make money doing that, right? Like I ain't look down. I ain't, oh man, that's I mean, for one, hello, I have a commercial cleaning business, right?
Yeah.
So I'm making a little change doing it. But even cleaning houses, a good friend of ours, Sherman, he is in the space of residential. He has a cleaning company, a franchise that he has that cleans residential facilities. People make money doing, like, find what you want to do and then pursue that. Find somebody who's in it, pursue it, look at them as the roadmap, and you can turn whatever it is that you like to do into a financial success. And because if you're doing it and you enjoy doing it, it's going to be like you're it's not going to be work to you. And
Yeah.
so I'm a firm believer, if you're good at it, you hone those skills, you enjoy doing it, the money is going to come.
Good stuff.
That's
And
growth.
really quickly, something you said, and I know we're trying to wrap up, but something you said about your ex-wife, how she was like, "Hey, I know it might sound crazy to you, but here's what I want to do. Here's what I would get enjoyment out of." And so for all of the viewers, what I want to remind you of, your dream, your life might sound crazy to someone else. Right? It might sound like it's small to someone else, but if it's on the inside, I want to encourage you. We want to encourage you to make sure you chase that thing, right? And figure out where you want to be and then start taking the steps to get there. So we're going to wrap up this episode. Clutch, it is always a pleasure, dude. You bringing it, dude. I tell you what. There was a cry. I must admit, there was a cry from some viewers that my potential raise go to you. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I do know this. I do know that in the next couple of weeks, next few weeks, we're going to have some very, very special guests coming
Oh
onto the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
I do believe that actually the person, your cousin, who put a hit out on you at the family reunion said,
I might
"Hey,
not be. I might not be on that one, man.
hey." Click said, "All of a sudden, I am. You know what? I feel this little this little thing in my throat. I don't think I can
Hey,
make that episode." Hey, I
you
tell you
heard
what,
me coughing.
that's
That's
the
why I got
one.
this.
That's the one you better be on, because he might get reckless on here. Hey, look, and you be like, "Man, I tell you what, everything we said, we want to say it to your face. We want to put a name and an address on that thing." All right, so Clutch, here's what I want to do, man. First of all, I want to tell you that I love you. I appreciate you. As we go on this growth journey, as we continue on this growth journey together, it is always a treat and a pleasure. Thank you for challenging me on this journey with my consistency to this right here, because as we prepare to talk to the audience, then I have to be better. So I appreciate you, and I want to let you know that I thank you for that. And I got some mail from you
Oh, really?
yesterday. I
Really?
appreciate that. I appreciate that. In fact, here's what so on this journey, right? A growth mindset.
Hmm.
There's something that I'm looking to do over the next 30 days. I've been good about getting my note cards out, but when I got yours yesterday, I wrote in my book from the Aladdin factor. I wrote in my book that one of my goals over the next 30 days, I have to get 100 note cards out, right? 100 note cards in 30 days. So I got my roll of stamps, 100 stamps. In 30 days from today, I will have gotten 100 note cards out. And I have the note cards. You know why? Because after our house flooded, I had a loving friend, a brother that cares for me, that had a surplus of note cards that said, "Hey, I'm going to bless you and I'm going to pay it forward and make it look like I'm generous, but I'm really just lazy and I'm not going to use all
Wow.
these note
No, you
cards."
didn't just throw that in there.
What? That's that guy, not you. But I've got whew, 500 note cards up there. Not all of them are for you. I fell behind. So we got some note cards to write. So I'll be getting 100 of those out in the next 30 days. And I just want to tell you, I
You know,
appreciate
I
you,
don't
sir.
like you, right? I don't like you. You do this every time.
I didn't do. I told you what I'm doing.
I know,
That's all I did.
but you already know how that triggers me.
You live your life, Clutch. Marcus J. Scott, ladies and gentlemen, the illustrious Marcus J. Scott.
See,
I'm just telling you that this roll right here, that's how I'm gonna know, because I'm gonna open this roll and then, bruh, let me tell you how serious I am.
He already know this. I'm a competitive person. I'm a competition, and anything he say he doing, it's gonna trigger me to be like, okay, I can't let him
Just
outdo
so
me. I could do.
so that's what 100 note cards look like right there, right? I got them real close to me.
I don't even want to look at that, man.
So so here's what I'm going to do. So right now on this episode of the Eavesdrop, these are my note cards. The next time, I hope these are going to be stacks of 20s, right? So then I could do like all the rappers. Money calling, money calling. So we're going to see what comes from these 100 note cards. Boy, that is intimidating, shorty. 100 note cards, 30 days.
That is, man.
Usually I'm pushing to get 50 out in a month. Now I'm going to double up, and part of that goes back to the challenge, right? You know, having that mentality of which one is the best ring, your favorite, most enjoyable, the next one. And so now I had gotten to a place where I'm like, bring me a challenge, someone, right? And so I was like, okay, let's go. So that's what I've got.
So my last thought before we get out of here too is, since you brought that up, so I also encourage an accountability partner in your growth. So if you have accountability, and I think that's what we are to each other, it's like, hey man. And so when you have an accountability partner, when I was in the military, they used to tell us to go out in twos, right? I'm like, man, I can do what I need to do. I don't need nobody to go with me, but you know, what if something happens, right?
Yeah, because I mean, as you leave the mail room and you go to the bathroom and come back, something could happen. I mean, because y'all know that Clutch was in the mail distribution center of the Air Force. He was in there for 2 days. Clutch got dishonorably discharged for getting a paper cut.
Here we go. See. So make sure you get your accountability partner, somebody that's gonna hold you accountable as you grow, because that will be the thing that, you know, continues to help you. And then when you fall, you have somebody that's, you know, there to help pick you up and keep moving.
There you go, getting back to the word, man. Hey, I pity the man who falls and has no one to pick him up, right? So then we start talking about those two friends and the Holy Spirit, right?
Man.
All of a sudden you got a cord of 3 braids. Come on, man. All right, so
we're 2 or 3. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, come on, PK and Minister, don't do that. All right, so we're gonna wrap up this episode. We want to remind you that we love you, God loves you. There's nothing you can do about it. And until the next time we see you or you see us, don't be average.
Be world renowned.
Peace. See y'all later.
Yeah.
Listen, I got on a sweatshirt hoodie. We roll up in the Toyota Avalon.
To the Bentley joint.
Hey, man.